Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting episode of We Heart Therapy. I'm your host, Anabelle Bugatti, and with us today I have special guest Gabrielle Burton, who's a marriage and family therapist intern here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and she's going to talk to us today about art therapy. Gabrielle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So talk to our viewers a little bit about art therapy. What is involved in that, and what does it mean, really?
Yeah, so art therapy is another way of kind of expressing what it is that you're feeling. Sometimes we don't have the words to use when we're experiencing deep emotions. And so art therapy really is just another form of therapy for us to be able to express what it is that we are experiencing.
Right. So when an art therapist or a therapist says that they use art therapy, what are we talking about exactly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's a lot of different types of art forms that therapists use. Sometimes they use clay for people to kind of mold what it is that they're experiencing. Sometimes there is painting involved. Sometimes there's drawing. And so expressive art even. So there's a lot of different forms in which people can express their emotions through therapy.
And obviously clients don't have to be an artist to use art therapy.
And that's true. And it's not only for kids. I know a lot of times adults kind of think, okay, well, I'm not a child. I don't want to paint, or I'm not good at art. But it's actually been very, very helpful for people of all ages to use art therapy.
Wow, that's so good. So art therapy is available for both children and adults.
It is.
And so what types of issues would art therapy be best to help folks with?
Yeah, so it's been helpful for people that have been experiencing PTSD, depression, and trauma even. And the reason why is because a lot of times, again, if they're experiencing such deep emotions, a lot of times people only think of anger or sadness, but there are so many different emotions that we experience. And so when we go into art therapy, we're actually able to label some of those emotions and see that there are so many more emotions that we actually experience.
Right. So it seems like sometimes people that maybe experience trauma or maybe have some deep anger issues or whatever it is they're going through, sometimes it gets so trapped and compartmentalized that people stop really experiencing a wide range of emotions. Yes. And they may have a very limited emotional vocabulary like yes. anger and happiness.
Yes.
And so through art therapy, we're able to sort of unlock that and help them to find and express and experience a wider range of emotions.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Excellent. So now you have a very specific approach to art therapy that you offer. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit more about that?
I'd love to. Okay, so it's called Strategic Emotional Exchange, and I actually know the creator of this program. Her name is Michelle Camrath, and she came up with this whole entire book, and it's just been really helpful I've been using it with clients that have depression, PTSD, and severe anger issues. I actually even used it with a client who was a victim of human trafficking, and it was so amazing for her. What this book does is it helps clients come up with an emotional vocabulary, like you had said earlier. There are a bunch of different boxes that we have clients fill out when it comes to different emotions like anger, inspiration, worry, generosity, and so on. There's a ton of different emotions in this booklet that they get to kind of experience. And so how we have them do this is we tell them to think of a time when they felt insulted, and they take themselves into that time. And then we want them to close their eyes, experience that emotion, and then draw it on the paper. So they're not, we always tell them not to draw smiley faces or sad faces. We really want them to tap into the subconscious mind and allow the subconscious mind to guide their pencil.
So it's more free flow rather than let's just draw ordinary staple symbols that we all think about.
Absolutely. Yes, and it was really awesome because I actually had a client, like I said, who was depressed and chronically depressed. And every time they came into the office, they just said they were depressed. They were depressed. And when I had them go through this and draw all these different emotions, they realized that they had experienced so many different emotions. They experienced excitement and curiosity and even guilt at some point. And then I actually had them tell me when the last time it was when they felt that emotion. And she was surprised to realized that she had experienced generosity 2 weeks prior. And so it was just really cool to just kind of help people become more aware that we have so many different emotions that we experience.
Right.
And
so it seems like there's something about seeing it on paper that helps. We tend to get so hunkered down in our day-to-day life that we become unaware of ourselves and even the environment around us in our own emotions. So, and also seeing it on paper, sometimes we can go back and find where a client might be stuck or trapped, if they don't remember feeling that emotion since, they were 15 years old, and then they may be able to identify a specific memory around that, and that provides sort of an entry point for us to go into.
Absolutely. I'm one of my human trafficking clients. When we first initially did these boxes, some of the negative emotions all looked the same. So it was like anger, depression, disgust, insulted, they all looked the same. And then when it came to excitement, inspiration, and love, they all looked the same. And so it was because of that severe trauma, her emotional vocabulary was so limited, and she wasn't able to differentiate between inspiration and excitement. And so when we were able to do this program together, as time went on, we kind of looked at her life and started to help differentiate between inspiration and excitement.
Right. So sometimes when you go through with clients, if you see that their emotions do look the same, like maybe their negative emotions or their unhelpful emotions look all the same versus all their more healthier emotions are the same, then you're able to sort of identify and really bring it out on paper for them to see, look how limited your range of emotions is, which oftentimes with trauma is just a safety mechanism. Our body goes into that fight, flight, or freeze. Absolutely. And protecting ourselves from experiencing that wide range of emotion is how we protect ourselves. So when they put it down in this book and can see, wow, look at how that I feel worry and depression and confusion and anger, and how it all looks the same. And then that becomes a place where, okay, maybe this week we're going to work on, worry, maybe, finding another way to express that, or help you become aware of how you really feel that apart from other emotions.
Yep, absolutely.
Excellent. I really like here in this book, so I'm going to give you a little snapshot of what this looks like, if you can see a little view of that. But it's kind of neat. So you have all these boxes labeled with emotions. This one for insulted has a little dot.
Yep.
So I would guess that the person who felt insulted in this felt very small.
Absolutely. And it's interesting too, if you think about the guilty one here, there's that same little dot, it's repeated. And if you look at some of these different, some of the similar, like anger has this type of squiggly line, so does depression. And let's see, where's another one? Worry kind of has some of these squiggly lines, but the more positive emotions are circular, excited, and things like that. Are curious is a little more swirly. So it's interesting that we'll actually find that when clients do that there are some of the emotions where certain movements tend to be more positive or more negative.
Right. Certain movements may be more correlated to those negative, unhelpful emotions.
Right.
Excellent. So if somebody wants to find an art therapist in their area, how would they go about finding one?
Yeah, so I know goodtherapy.org has been a really good website, or even Psychology Today has been really, really beneficial for people to find therapists.
And they can just type in art therapy or art therapist?
I believe so.
Absolutely. And now if you're local in Las Vegas and you'd like to come work with Gabrielle, how can our viewers find and work with you?
Yeah, so I actually see clients at Lake Mead Wellness Center here in Henderson, Nevada. And if you want to give me a call, should I give him my phone number?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
So my phone number is actually 702-518-8807.
And you'll have a website coming up.
I do have a website, and you can go ahead and book me directly on the website, and we can get you scheduled to kind of start to go through some of your emotions and experience a little bit of creativity through art therapy.
And your website is?
GabrielleMBurton.com.
And of course, as always, I'll put the link in the drop-down box. And if you like what you see here today, you can look up Miss Gabrielle and work with her. Otherwise, thank you again for tuning in to We Heart Therapy. More episodes are coming soon.